Being a nanny is hard because kids are assholes. We saw Mr. Nanny, so you know what that means.
We're gonna have a good time celebrating failure, not just being a hater, cause you know you wonder how did this remain? Let's wallow in the mediocrity of subpar art. Perhaps we'll find the answer to the question, how did this get made?
Hello, people of Earth! And hello, Los Angeles! We are here at our Los Angeles home, Largo, one of the best theaters in LA. You have to come check it out. But we are here tonight for our second part of Hulkamania. Hulkster has done a family film, and we are going to talk all about it. It's a heartwarming night here. But before we get started, let me bring out my co-host. Please welcome June Diane Raphael. And Jason Mantzoukas. We have, how are you both?
I'm doing
awesome! We have a very special guest tonight, the very funny, the very talented Rob Corddry. Have a seat. Oh my gosh.
Just played slide guitar for them.
It was really nice. I really liked what you did there. Hulk would play slide guitar for them too, I imagine. Guys, Mr. Nanny is not a Hulk Hogan movie. It's a Terry Hogan movie.
It's a Terry Hulk Hogan movie.
This is, I think, when he was trying to branch out, when his characters were wrestlers, but that wasn't the main thing. They were different.
This is a challenge that I feel like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has also had to confront.
Yeah.
You know, is
same thing
really...
for Randy Savage.
Yes, Macho Man?
Yeah, oh yeah, is that what they called him? Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you talking about Macho Man?
I guess so, yeah. I forgot that was even his name.
Of course.
I know him as Randy Savage.
The Iron Sheik has done no work in this field at all.
I have an Iron Sheik app on my phone that's an alarm clock that was clearly recorded on an iPhone. The sound is terrible. It's like, get up, you fucking dummy! It's amazing. Monday! I hate Monday!
Wait.
It's amazing.
Is he doing a Garfield impression? Lasagna! I love lasagna!
John is so stupid!
Odie, you are so stupid!
I get away with so much here!
This is a medium I can say anything in! It's an alarm clock app! I can say the N-word if I want!
Oh, man. Mr. Nanny is, you know, I almost will start it with a quote from Hulk Hogan here.
Please do.
He goes, everyone...
I would love it if you said, I was going to start it with a quote from Nietzsche.
Everyone
By the way, I'm gonna comment when June gets up and walks around.
Yeah.
Now
He's refused to not comment.
You've just blown it.
You guys don't have to, but I'm not a host of this show, so I'm gonna tell the people at home what's going on. Go ahead.
It's really weird. It's really weird.
This is Terry Hogan talking about this movie. Everyone knows everyone knows me from Rocky 3.
Yeah. Yep. Please end it there. That's it. That's where we all know Hulk from. Period.
Everyone knows me from Rocky 3. But I think the movie, that was my favorite movie that the kids loved, and what I was hoping would be a breakthrough movie for me was Mr. Nanny. Everyone's made that same movie. Arnold made it, Stallone made it, and I actually thought that with comedic relief and how funny it was and how good the kid actors were, I thought it would be a home run. But it did what it did.
did what it did.
It was good, but it wasn't that breakthrough that would put me in the same category in Hollywood that I was in wrestling. I thought it would have been great if I could carry the weight of wrestling into the box office and the weight of the box office into wrestling. Thought it would have been a perfect marriage.
I promise not to make a sex tape someday.
Promise broken.
But he's right. Millions of people have made this movie, but they did not want to see him make it.
I would argue that the movie, the premise of the movie, yes, we've seen before, and it's been successful. The problem I had with it was that I actually just I want to pitch a stronger premise for this movie, which would be that...
You want to pitch them the movie that it is and then show your reverse?
Well, I guess the movie... Well, I don't even know how to get into the movie that it is.
All right, then pitch the...
It's 2 movies, by the way.
It truly
That's my premise.
is.
Go on.
But, so, I would just have him think he's showing up to be a security guard. That would be the premise. And then find out, upon arrival, that he's actually been hired to be a nanny.
Like he's duped.
He's sort of been duped. There was some sort of miscommunication.
Like the kids are so
I'm not going
violent
to get into the logistics of how all these feats work out.
Because what you're describing is roughly the same thing.
No, it's not, though. No, it's not.
This?
See, that's my
Not
problem.
at all.
It's not at all.
Because
the same.
that is exactly what happens in this movie.
Yeah.
No, it's
Thank
not.
you. That's exactly what happened.
I'm gonna jump around a little bit, but there's a scene
Please
toward the end of the
do.
movie. There's a scene toward the end of the movie where the cook says,
Mother love?
says, "You weren't a nanny the whole time."
Okay.
He's confused that he wasn't actually hired to be a nanny.
Wait, what?
I am now confused. Well, no, he was hired as... He's hired... He's a wrestler who had some sort of bad accident that gives him nightmares.
Or that gives him honestly a nightmare at the beginning of the movie.
No, it gives him night terrors. Like his nightmare is so strong that it makes him fly back.
Yes, that's true.
When he gets hit in his nightmare, which means he has a neurological disorder.
Yeah.
At the start of this movie.
And he spends his days, when we first open on him, just fishing out on the dock.
Sleeping.
Upright. And when he finally catches a fish, it's so small, he throws it back.
He throws it back because he's a nice guy.
It's a save the cat moment.
Yes.
For those of you who want to know about screenwriting, you gotta show your heroes doing something nice. In this, he literally saves a fish.
There's also a song.
But what we know though, is that fish, having been hooked, caught, and touched by human hands, is now compromised to a degree that its death is all but assured.
Oh, he'll be rejected.
It's
a win
very
in
cruel.
Hogan's mind only.
Yeah, it's very cruel to throw that fish back at this point.
Fish, all the other fish are like, buddy, you're contaminated. He is beginning to die already.
I also think David Johansen, who plays the villain and does the soundtrack.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Buster Poindexter for some of you.
The New York Dolls.
Which he was the precursor to punk rock until this moment.
Yeah.
He actually has a song in there called like "Gone Fishing," "Have Nightmares," and then I gotta be a nanny.
Well, the movie
They're all
was
very literal songs.
Very literal.
The movie was originally called Rough Stuff.
Last song in the movie.
Which makes sense because at the end song is like, rough stuff for 4 minutes.
Which tells you it's the whole plot of the movie David Johansen recites to you.
Let me ask you this. If you saw a poster for a movie and it was Hulk Hogan and 2 little kids and it said, rough stuff. What do you think is happening in that movie?
Well,
That
these
is not
kids,
a family-friendly movie.
Hey, you guys want to go see rough stuff?
the kids in the movie get the shit kicked out
Constantly.
of them.
By adults. They just get slapped and knocked around.
But the kids are also
Yeah?
terrorists.
Yeah, kids got it coming.
There's also a molestation scene that we'll get to later. I think.
Yeah.
So basically, I was shocked. I don't know if you guys were when the movie says like Terry Hulk Hogan, and then it says Sherman Hemsley. He is the second lead actor from
The Hewleys.
I think of him as from the.
I know him from the Hewleys.
The Jeffersons. Amen. Classic Sherman. Sherman Hemsley
Classic Sherman.
Sherman and Terry have a great opening scene where it seems like they forgot to record sound. It's shot from across a lake, and it doesn't look like any of that dialogue was. I don't know if their mouths are moving, but it definitely isn't the sound from that day. It is a full scene from far away. It's like, I told you this. Well, I never did that. Well, I want to be a wrestler again. Well, you got to come with me. So they basically, Terry wants to get back into wrestling, but Sherman runs some sort of bodyguard.
This is where it's mysterious.
I have a lot of questions about Sherman Hemsley in this movie.
Me
lot of questions. And I thought I had a real hold on it until, spoiler alert, at the end of the movie when he's in a policeman's dress uniform.
Yeah.
At which point, my brain folded into itself. I shit my pants and came at the same time.
You're racist.
Yep.
He was promoted to full LA Confidential captain.
What? He lives in a home that is being the telephone is being ripped out of. Yes. But he's a policeman.
Well, wait, this is my concern.
What? No, I think that he was hired at the end not as an officer of the law. I think he was promoted to like head security for this family.
He's wearing a badge.
I know because it's a special outfit that
He's
they
wearing
gave him.
braids, military stuff.
Yeah, Miami-Dade County official uniform.
I
think it's just like a Richie Rich uniform,
Oh yeah.
like a super fancy one.
That's a good point.
Sherman is having some bad luck. When Hulk asks him in the beginning of the movie, he goes, "When's the last time you ate?" He says, "A week ago." And
Things are bad.
They're
Things
really
are very bad. Now, he convinces Sean Armstrong. That's Terry Hogan's name in the movie. He convinces Sean Armstrong to take this security gig. Now, it was my belief that if he took this gig, Sherman would get some money, but it doesn't seem to be translating to him at all, that money from the gig.
Okay, I guess maybe I thought at one point, because I was so deeply confused, that Sherman was his former manager, right?
Yes.
So that maybe
For 15 years.
For 15 years. So maybe
Took a
they
bullet for him.
still
Took a bullet.
for him. Very close relationship. Maybe they still have some sort of contract where whatever Sean Armstrong makes, he gets a cut of.
Well, what is it? Like 10%? 15%? What are we talking about?
Even if he's just procuring him a security job, I would still think he is entitled.
That was the
to
whole
some
thing.
money.
No, he runs a security company. He's like, I got you this job, and I'm like, he's like a
Guess what I
headhunter.
don't need to do is call a security company and have it be a guy whose phone is being repossessed.
Well, my question.
Who lives in like a cartoonishly destitute hovel.
That's racist.
And even the repo men's truck have a sense of humor. It's like, your poverty is our wealth. Like it says that on the sign. It's like, that's a little bad message to be sending.
Actually, that's pretty funny. There are some really funny moments in this movie. Few and far between, don't get me wrong.
The idea, though, that this man who is the head of this giant corporation, like, think Bill Gates, like that's like that type of guy, I guess, like, that's what I think they're trying to go after. Like,
Well, no, he started the company as Garage.
Yeah.
So it's Steve Jobs, right?
Okay, so Steve Jobs, yeah. So he's Steve Jobs, and he's calling Sherman Hemsley for the guy. We need to get.
Well,
See,
no,
this
his
is what
security
I think.
guy
What I
is
think
doing
his
that.
security guy calls Sherman Hemsley, and what we find out is that his security guy is working
Correct.
for the bad guy. So I think he hired what he probably thought was some bullshit security.
That's exactly what he said at one point.
Oh, okay,
Alright.
I missed that part.
I hired
Things are getting a lot
the
clearer.
broke down guy from the Jeffersons
Yeah.
Yes.
because he
And
can't do anything right.
He got some ex-wrestler named Hulk Hogan.
Right. But is Sherman's security company... do they install like systems and stuff? Or,
Yes. Yep.
Or do they
That's
just
a great
have,
question.
Like,
Are they ADT or you like they have an ADT?
Yeah.
Can I
don't
get
know,
like
because they're
cameras?
living
Do they do
in-
networking?
They're living in shacks.
Yeah. Like
So-
he lives in a post-Katrina environment.
Absolutely.
Like, just if you haven't seen the movie, he looks like he lives in a house from Treme.
I was gonna say that, and it's so run down. It's so, but at the same time realistic because it's so run down.
Well, it's like Sanford and Son at first.
This is
Yes.
racist.
This is racist?
Yeah.
I get my black shows mixed up.
It's so bad that they're taking his only burner, but he's keeping the teapot. For what? Who knows? That last cup of tea.
So Bill Gates or whatever, Steve Jobs, hires Hulk Hogan to be his security detail because he's invented a computer chip that is going to power a rocket that is going to bring peace to the world because it
shoots down rockets.
It's
Social commentary.
Star Wars?
I mean,
down
it's
other
a Star Wars
It's
weapon.
Star Wars.
I mean,
Star Wars.
And by the way, Hulk Hogan finds out this information. He's a security guard. He's just the muscle.
Can we just
And he's a klutz. And he's
they
a klutz.
deliver this company's top secret
Yep.
information within the first 3 minutes of him.
No, wait, but this is the best. This is the best part about it, though, because again, you think Hulk is a real lunkhead, a real dummy, and they go like, "Do you even know what a microchip is?" He's like, Hulk trying so hard to remember his lines.
Yes.
Yes, a microchip is a conductor that transmits energy over pieces of things, but so small. You see his eyes like, yeah. There's no conviction behind
Which, by
that
the
definition.
way, I took issue with because later on, when the younger kid is super into like technology and like mechanics and everything, Hulk doesn't seem to know anything
He
about
doesn't know what a
anything.
toilet seat
Yeah.
is later on.
Or a magnet.
Yeah.
Hulk doesn't understand magnets in this movie.
Oh man. What was that there? Just before we get into the main part of the movie, there was one thing I wanted to just examine. Like at one point when Sherman Hemsley says he hasn't eaten for a week, and then like he takes a security gig, Sherman goes like, "What else he got to eat?" And then Hulk just goes, "Argh!" and slams the table. But like, is he angry that he's eating more of his food? I didn't quite get what.
That was one of the moments in the movie where I thought, like, this is a missed opportunity for Hulk to break something. Because he's often in the movie breaking things and throwing them. Or bending them.
Yes.
Yep.
Bending or breaking them and throwing them. And it's...
Or ripping them.
What?
Or ripping them in half.
Ripping
Well,
them.
and his main fighting technique is just tossing. There needs to be. And by the way, for a wrestler in this movie, we'll get into it, but he's a terrible fighter. He seems to be a terrible fighter.
He's terrible. And to juxtapose him to the movie we just did, No Holds Barred, amazing. In that movie, he's a flawless fighter. In this, he's like broke down and he loses most of his fights.
And do
Only- he only
do we know why he stopped wrestling?
I'm assuming it was as a result of the shooting gone awry.
Yeah,
Is that why he's having night terrors?
the lead singer of the New York Dolls shot him in the
tried
leg.
to shoot him.
Well, he tried to shoot
Well,
Tried to
Sherman.
shoot-
No.
He tries to shoot Hogan in the dick. Because that's
Kids
where
movie.
Sherman Hemsley's leg is when it gets shot. Right in front of Hogan's dick. So guess what? Sherman Hemsley didn't take a bullet and save your life. He just saved your dick. Because you
which
can't
is
live.
more valuable in Hulk's world than anything else.
He's like, I gotta make a sex tape in a bunch of years.
shoot me in the head.
With
Don't
Buffalo
shoot me in the
Love's fucking
moneymaker.
I'll tell you something, Mean Gene.
Do you think that Hulk's pubes are as nicely groomed as his hair on the side of his head? Just like
He has just, or do you think they're also just sad doll's hair? It's sad doll's hair on top, sad doll's hair on bottom. Just some loose strands of much
hate
too
it.
fine hair.
I hate it.
For a big burly man, he has like an infant girl's hair.
June, to get to your point too about them revealing the secrets right away. Basically, Hulk just goes, he's like, well, I'm working on a very secret plan. And Hulk's like, tell me or I'm out of here. And he's like, okay. So that was how it was revealed. That was all the arm twisting that was required.
And what's happening, he's got this microchip, he's going to power the peace missile, and there's a bad guy who wants to steal it. There's a bad guy who's like calling him. My favorite thing is Bill Gates. The equivalent thereof, Austin Pendleton is just playing him. Bill Gates is in his office, his phone rings, and he's like, hello, Austin Pendleton. Like, he picks up his own phone, answers it, and it's the bad guy.
Oh, we didn't even talk about the fact that moments before, he's like, let me open my desk drawer, and then like a baby powder bomb goes off.
Yeah.
He gets it in, and he's like,
what was that?
He's a mad scientist.
But what was
it
that?
was an idea that was jettisoned later on.
What was the point of David Johansen putting that? Because David Johansen calls me, he's like, did you get my surprise or whatever?
Because he was like, I can get to you. I can get that close to you.
Well,
it's a fear tactic.
All right, it's punk rock. It's called post-punk rock.
No, Rob, I don't want to.
It's called punked rock because you just got punked.
I don't want to pimp you out, Rob, but we were talking before the show. You said that, Rob knows that I like stuff and we like stuff that is like so bad it's good, and you are not a fan.
Paul and I have had a discussion over the years for a long time that I do not understand his fascination with the genre so bad it's good, which this whole podcast is based on. And yet I find myself listening to the podcast going, why? Thinking like, they had to watch this shit. And I've seen shit with Paul, and he's like, that was awesome. And I'm like, I don't get it.
I dragged you to the Bill and Ted Halloween show.
Today, I had to watch it, and I was literally down to the wire. I had to watch my kids at like 4:30 or 5, and it was like 2 o'clock, and I was like, I gotta watch it now. It was today, and I was like, but those air filters in the air conditioning need to be changed. You should change those once a month.
Once a month?
That's
once
excessive.
a month, you have to.
That's excessive.
Not a myth. You have to change them once a month.
You
Air
don't
filters?
want shit growing. You can get Legionnaire's disease.
Yo.
There can be a lot of
Whole host of things you could
don't
get.
get me started.
Poop gets in there, the whole deal. Listen.
I had a very nasty stomach virus this week. Spent most of the week just shitting my brains
I have to say, for someone who is so cleanly, you have now been sick twice for weeks at a time.
Yeah.
You're always sick.
I don't know what's going on. As my doctor said when I was describing to him...
When I was texting him all the time.
I was describing to him, like, medical problems I have, and he goes, He goes, you really got a bum unit.
Jason and I shared a doctor for a while, and he totally violated patient-doctor privileges. When I said, you know Jason Mantzoukas, right? He goes, yeah, I'm surprised that guy isn't dead. But I not only did I get the ladder out of the garage to put it up to where I have to change the filter, but I went down to the hardware store to buy new filters. And also did some shopping when I was down there. I like a hardware store.
Baller
Hardware.
Let's feel it. Small businesses.
Oh, I got some Gugon. I got some 3-in-1 oil. And anything
Welcome
not to watch
hardware
this
talk
movie.
on the Earwolf Network.
We talk about cool little hardware places in Los Feliz, Silver Lake, and Echo Park.
And what you get there.
Oh, you're welcome, baller. But then I, of course, had to end up watching it. And you know what? This movie changed my mind.
Yeah.
I get it now. That was a lot of fun, especially when my 2 daughters came in to watch it with me, which we'll get to later.
Wow. I'm very excited to hear their opinion of it, because you would argue they're the target demographic.
They are. It's a kid's movie, right?
It is indeed.
I'm shaking my head for you listening at home.
So the Hulk gets to the house to take care of these kids.
Well, I guess that's
Okay.
what I was trying to say before. No, he doesn't get to the house to take care of these kids.
He gets there to be a security guard.
He drives on his motorcycle listening to...
with the yellow Walkman. I thought that Walkman was going to come back in a major way after all of the
Like the breath spray.
It came back in a very minor
I
way.
want to
very minor way.
I want to show you this thing because you're talking about the motorcycle, and as he's pulling into the house, the person who pulls all of our clips, Avril Haley, she pulled this moment of somebody abusing an animal in the opening that I did not catch. So, here it is. Okay.
I just wanna go fishing in the deep blue sea. Cause I need a change from my reality. This world will beat you down, beat you with a stick. Take you on an ice cream pie, make you want to kick.
That is a person throwing a dog into the water.
Into a channel.
What?
Holy shit!
That's amazing. I did not see that.
Do you think the editors saw that?
They had to. I'm sure the editors played that clip back
You know
and
what?
back.
We only got the one take, so we gotta use it.
We gotta use it. How
was
much
going-
money do we have to
Best-
paint this out?
Best we can do is send this to the local police, and they'll try and find Pink Shirt. They'll try and find the pink shirt guy with the
Due diligence.
disposing of a dog's body in the water.
Throws a dog into, and that can't be an extra.
No.
It's not an extra because an extra
No,
wouldn't.
okay. On action, the bike's gonna come by. Throw the dog. Throw the dog into the water.
She was like,
want
she
me to
saw
what?
the camera set up there all day.
I'll play it.
You wanna-
Play it again, Paul. I need it again.
My notes mean nothing anymore.
What are we doing?
I don't get it anymore.
And I gotta say, that throw is not like, oh, it's playtime. Like, go for a swim. Like,
The
that's
only thing that-
different.
It's like I'm throwing this dog away.
Yep. I'm done with this.
What's the best way to get rid of a dog?
I hope.
Oh, Google doesn't exist yet?
I hope. My only hope in the whole world is that at some point that guy was like sitting, flipping through channels, and was like, "Holy shit, that's me! Holy shit, guys! Remember my dog?
When I killed that
Remember my
dog?
Okay,
Remember when I lied to you guys and told you that the dog went to heaven?
That's me. I threw the dog in the river.
Well, I imagine it's really upsetting for the dog's family if the dog's family went there and they were all probably getting front rows and they're like, "That's what happened to our
Which is the major demographic of this movie.
90%
Dogs
of-
between 18 and 34.
So he pulls up to the house. I'm sorry, June. He pulls up to the house on his motorcycle.
Dude,
I don't know.
you had a point to make until you saw a dog get thrown away.
I forgot everything.
The question
forgot everything.
is he a nanny or is he a
Is he a
security
nanny
guard?
or is he a security guard?
He is hired as a
We have
security
not
guard.
gotten to maybe minute 6 of the movie.
Whoa.
Maybe we're at minute 9. Maybe.
I think at one
I got a lot more
point-
pages of
I think
notes.
At one point, he even says that he hates kids, but he's okay being around them.
He's so good with them.
There is a nanny there
Got it.
to solidify this idea that he's not the nanny.
Correct.
Okay. So then he shows up, and the nanny goes running from the house with her head on fire.
Yeah.
So that's happening.
There's a lot of top of head injuries in this movie.
The things that happen
That's a
to
real
tops
thing.
of heads in
Yep.
this movie
Yeah.
are
Real
crazy.
One of them being male pattern baldness, as we'll get into later.
So, but I guess my question is, so So he shows up thinking he's the security guard. The nanny, he realizes that all the nannies have left. So I guess what I'm concerned about is this transition from I'm the security guard for the kids to I'm the nanny for the kids.
Well, they
And those
basically
roles
say
seem to be
they
interchangeable.
basically say like, oh, the minute that woman is on fire, Austin Pendleton, the Steve Jobs character, is like, oh, the nanny company said no more nannies after that one. Like he knows immediately
That was the
that
last
they
nanny.
can't dip in there. He's like, well, why don't you do it? And he's like, okay. Like he just signs up for it.
He's like, well, he says no once. And
Yeah.
he's like, fuck it. I got to move this movie along.
Can't stay in the first act forever.
But it's a pretty, and I will say about Austin Pendleton's character, it's
Great
sort of a
performance.
leap. Great performance. It's sort of a leap to think that a security guard would also be your children's nanny.
Yeah.
I think he's meant to be protecting the children from David Johansen. My favorite thing is David Johansen calls Austin Pendleton on the phone, and Austin Pendleton says, "Who are you?" And he goes, "Just your average psychotic criminal genius."
My question about that was, is he being sarcastic?
No.
No.
Heavens no.
If you saw the rest of the movie, you'd know the answer is
Mr.
no.
Thanatos, sarcastic? No way. He's Greek.
He rubs his hands every time it gets evil.
And that's not a bad acting choice for a singer of a band.
Yeah.
Not
He
necessarily an actor.
he also has a metal dome on the top of his head.
That doesn't get explained till minute 50 something.
Yes. I rewound it and I was like, is he wearing a hat, a steel yarmulke? What's happening?
Like
A hammered
full
chrome.
metal
And then
thing.
later on we'll find out that metalhead is the most powerful weapon used in the movie.
Yeah.
It's the most effective.
Oh yeah.
Well, also I want to talk about when Hulk comes to the house, like he's looking around, he's like, oh, what's this house? It's a pretty house. And he sees a pie on the table and immediately starts to finger it.
Disgusting.
Like a weird pie pervert. It's like, oh yeah. And then the chef,
Mother Love
takes like a meat cleaver and is like gonna chop off his hand because he's fingering her pie. And literally a pie, not her vagina.
That happened in No Holds Barred. Mr. Thanatos also has a fishing pole in this movie.
A lot of fishing
A
themes.
lot of fishing poles.
There's a
Going
song about
fishing.
fishing.
That was very weird to me. I didn't like that.
I also thought that his journey as a character from sort of like he started off as a pretty low class
He seems like just a thug.
criminal. Yeah, like a
I was very confused about this transition. Yeah.
to transition from that guy to like a high tech
Like a Batman villain.
Batman villain.
He's like a Batman
Seems
villain,
like
but then we realized
big
later
leap.
on. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go,
That he is intimately connected
Yes.
to Hulk and Sherman Hemsley.
That's in the
what were
second
the
movie.
chances?
Yeah.
When the family shit is all wrapped up at about minute 57, we get into the bad guy movie.
Yeah.
Well,
Which
yeah,
is
good.
not a children's movie. Because that's when my kids came in to watch it.
We have to get to this. Yeah. Well, there's so many questions here because also the Thanatos he's keeping very close eyes on this family. Now he has this metal dome on his head that was given to him by Hulk Hogan. You would think that they would
Not
be
as
like,
a gift.
not as a gift.
Not as a gift. Not given to him like, hey, I wanted you to have this metal head. Cap. Happy bar mitzvah. Welcome to solid metal yarmulke. No, it's like that. Thanatos is the guy who's trying to shoot Hogan's dick.
Right.
Sherman Hemsley
Because he wouldn't
stops the
throw a
bullet
match.
because he wouldn't throw a wrestling match. Thanatos is like a low thug who wants him to throw a wrestling match. He won't throw the match. They win the match. He tries to shoot Hogan,
Which we
He's
see
got a
well
big-
into Act 3.
What's that?
Yes.
Well into Act 3.
Sorry, I've
that
jumped
happens.
way ahead. David Johansen's got all this crazy hair. Hogan throws him out a window.
He
lands-
falls on a balcony.
Oh, off a balcony?
Yeah,
And he lands
into
in
a pool.
an empty pool. on top of his head, and what they explain is that his
Brain
hair
comes out.
cushioned the fall.
Yes.
So he didn't die, but his brain matter was splattered all over the place.
Yeah.
But they scooped it back up,
They
put
scooped
it
it
in.
back up, put a metal hat on him.
And yet
I
he's
think
smart enough to wrangle this team of thugs, including Wolfgang.
Yeah.
Who's Wolf? Oh,
Wolfgang's the Arnold Schwarzenegger character.
And I would say the thing he seems most upset about, though,
Is his
out of all
headaches?
that, is that he lost that big old head of hair.
oh yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
my
Like
issue
that
with
seems like the real crime there.
Yeah.
For him.
Well, I mean, I think his monologue at the end where he talks about his hair is amazing. It's a great, like, it's a real powerful monologue about the loss of his hair. But my whole thing is, this is his main enemy. Like Terry Hogan is his main opponent in life. So he kind of put his revenge plot, I guess, on the side.
No, here's the thing.
There's no revenge
He
plot.
doesn't know
he has
Terry
no
Hogan
idea.
Well, that's
is
my-
the security guard until
that's
the end of the
my
movie.
issue.
He has no idea that he's there.
And he has men on the inside that are working intimately with Hulk Hogan. So that should have been like, oh yeah, he's working with this wrestler. Oh, wrestler? Wrestler almost killed me.
You
What does
know,
he look like?
I used to be in the wrestling game.
Well, maybe it's
Before
somebody
I had
know.
this metal head.
But we'll go back on.
By the way, I would just like to say that David Johansen's performance, if there was a type of music or a piece of music that could underscore his awful performance in this movie, it would only be and was his own music that he wrote for this movie.
Okay, can I show you guys real quick the flashback scene? We see how
Oh, do you have it all the way through?
Does somebody in the background die?
please. And this one, another animal. I think until the shot. I have until the shot.
Now, I just want to say, watch how slowly Sherman Hemsley moves in order to block the bullet.
By the way, this should have been the cold open of the movie.
This should have been.
Yeah.
This
is
should
how
have
the
been
movie
what
should
the
have
movie
started.
Not the
about.
10-minute long dream sequence.
Yeah. Which has no context and never has context.
Except that the little girl has trouble sleeping too.
I ordered you to throw that match. You've cost me money. Big money.
Oh yeah? Bigger than your hair?
We don't throw matches.
That's right. Of course, if you were soaked in some gasoline, we might throw matches, the flaming kind. And with that fireball on top of your head, you'd make one hell of a torch.
First you defy me, then you mock my hair. You're dead. Look out!
An amazing.
Yes, it's look out!
By the way, also the way that scene is choreographed, he was holding a gun the entire time. That decision to kill was not made.
It wasn't rash.
But luckily it jammed.
Here's a great picture just to see the differences that everyone has with their hair and the similarities that they have as well. Which is they all had really nice heads of hair, and then they all go bald in the center.
Terry Hogan's character's named Sean Armstrong.
Ooh.
Which is as literal.
Ooh, I didn't know.
Is as literal as the music in the movie. Like it could be Terry or Sean. Bald on
You
top.
got this. You got this, bro.
Bald on top.
Bald on top.
Sean high-waisted jeans. Sean jean shirt. Sean.
He does dress like Jay Leno in the majority of this movie.
Sean, my fingernails are really white, contrasted against my impossible tan. Sean, I don't have anything else. I can't come up with anything else.
Let's get into these kids because I have some issues with these kids.
Hey, man.
Let's get into some rough stuff with these kids.
Let's get into these kids.
Let's get into these kids.
Guys, I'm gonna say, and I just want to throw it out there. Would you guys agree that this wrestler's probably met his toughest opponents and they're not in the ring?
This movie came out 1 year after Home Alone 2, by the way.
A classic.
3 years after Home Alone 1.
Oh. This is 1993, this movie came out.
Well, do you think, because there's the whole thing about the kids going to public school, and that's a big part of the plot.
Meant nothing.
That added up to nothing.
Nothing.
But at a certain point I thought, well, I don't know if these kids are acting out because their mom just passed away a few years ago, or if it's because of the public school education.
No, I mean, they're acting out because their mom is dead. Their dad is ignoring them. He is a horrible
That's
father.
the whole first movie. Their father's ignoring.
Hold up. Acting out, they're killing people. The violence that they are inflicting is beyond prank level.
There is a workout/shower sequence where they're trying to murder Hulk Hogan.
By electrocution.
Well, no, the kid says, it's a low voltage, so it won't kill him. And the little girl says, well, then turn it up.
And
she wants him dead.
They get theirs, though.
And by the way, in case you haven't seen the movie, he is nothing but nice to them.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing but nice. As a matter,
that's my problem with the movie is that I feel like if he had if the premise of the movie was that he's this big burly guy who wants to react, who has these violent instincts, but then has to pull back on them to be Mr. Nanny, I can get behind that. But he's nice to them from the get-go.
There's a movie in there somewhere. Is what you're saying.
So basically, he's a wrestler who is like, I don't have a gig. I guess I'll be this nanny, but I got these anger issues, but I can't let them come out because I'm a nanny.
That's kind of the plot of The Wrestler. Mickey Rourke.
But he's nice.
Great movie.
He's lovely to them from the beginning.
But that's the thing with Hulk Hogan is like, I feel like he can't ever have an arc. And we saw this in the other movie too, because he's got to be like, I'm for kids, I'm for America, I'm for charity. I know about microchips. Like,
I'm kind to fish.
I'm kind to fish. Like he's got to start off being awesome and end being awesome. And never in the middle does he deviate from being awesome.
Okay, the one thing I will say about him, though, is when he gets to the house, he really does spend a lot of time away from the kids. And I know that's in service of them having to do all these pranks to him, but he is supposed to be a security guard.
What's he doing?
He's at the gym.
I do know.
He is taking
poking around.
Leisure time in that mansion.
He's poking around in a mansion.
Yeah, I did notice that he's like, the house is safe. Like, that's not the safe zone. Like, he should look, that's a lot of rooms.
Look around, check some closets.
He should be patrolling.
Exactly. Now, let's talk about something that I felt like I noticed, which was the house has a gym, but it also has lockers.
Yep. Yeah.
Like a lot of lockers and multiple shower heads.
And a big open shower.
Yeah,
like,
a bit like you would be multiply like prison showering.
Yeah.
System.
It's got like a boxer gym shower room.
Yeah. So you would be like, oh, I don't want to go up to my bedroom to take a shower. I'll take one in the gym, which is 40 feet away from my bedroom.
There's likely to be no booby traps there.
But here's the other thing that I kept thinking with that is, so he's in the gym, and the kid, there's all manner of pranks in the gym, many of which we saw in This Is Where Magnets Happen, guys, and all this. And then at the end of it, it's torture. It's torture. At the end of it, he goes, good workout. And time to hit the showers. Then the kids have rigged up another set of torture devices in the shower area where he is walking around nude. So the presumption is
in the smallest towel,
tiny towel.
His towel. I swear to God, you could see the bottom of his balls.
Are looking at 100% checking his dick out,
and he's just starting to get Hulk Hogan tits.
Yeah,
like it's around 1993, and he's really sucking it in. He's like, I don't have tits.
Hogan tits.
Hogan tits.
I just pulled up, just so you get to see the level of violence inflicted upon Hulk Hogan. This is a montage of every time he gets hit in the head. A lot of head hits.
Such a like Alzheimer's next year.
The one prank I found very odd was the bed prank, where he got into bed.
They short-sheeted.
Oh, the sound effects in this movie.
Wait, June, what's that?
Outshine everything.
I just didn't understand what happened. They cut up his
They
sheets.
short-sheeted his bed. It's like a classic prank.
camp trick.
Yeah, where you
What?
fold someone's sheets in half, so it only, when you put your feet in, it would only go halfway down the bed.
And that was evident by the sound of the editor going, rip.
I guess in the context of him escaping death in other pranks, you know.
That one they didn't bring their A game to. The majority of the pranks involve tripwires.
Yes.
And a lot of
Tripwires at the top of a staircase.
With a roller skate at it.
Tripwires in like horrifying situations.
I'm all up for a good pratfall, but this man would be dead.
Hulk Hogan is no Buster Keaton.
No. He's like Frankenstein meets Buster Keaton.
Oh, he's actually called Frankenstein.
Yeah, they call him fat. They call him
I got the whole list right here. I actually wrote it down of all the things that Hulk Hogan is called during this movie. Butthead, Frankenstein, Lurch, One Tough Mother, Pucker Butt, Porky, and Wimpy and Gimpy. That's all that I could bear to write down.
Did we talk about how the treadmill in one of the classic pranks, where they speed up the treadmill to go so fast, the treadmill has a couple settings on it, like normal, like slow, normal, too fast, and then one marked coronary. So you could choose that speed of coronary, or was that to warn you that you were going to have a coronary?
When I was in my best shape, I used to run at coronary.
Did anyone else notice that the wardrobe for the little girl really I had trouble with, because she was dressed like
Little House on the Prairie.
Too sexy.
She was dressed like she was in Mary Poppins. Like
not sexy. No.
She was in the strangest clothes in school too, like very, very formal outfits.
She has Matilda.
And then the little boy, when he was going to stand up to the bullies, had a sleeveless dungaree vest.
Yep.
That's correct.
But here's another thing I don't get.
That's right.
I guess we're at plot C or D at this point. Where A plot is like there's a weapon that can stop nuclear war. B plot is
never mentioned again.
Hulk is a security guard turned nanny. C plot is Hulk doesn't get along with the kids. D plot, I guess C plot is like Buster Poindexter. D plot is this kid is being bullied. Now this kid is so good at pranking and hurting Hulk, yet he can't transfer that over to hurting the bullies.
Because he's the king of his castle, but at school he gets bullied by bigger kids.
Well, the other problem is those kids know he's rich.
Yeah, Richie Rich.
Yeah, they saw the rolls pull up.
Yes. It's also very strange that Hulk Hogan seems to only be protecting the girl at school.
Well, they have a connection.
That's true. That's true.
That is half thought out.
He's always in the classroom with her. He never seems to check in.
Well, one time he's in the classroom with her.
And we find out inexplicably that Hogan went to this same elementary school, and over the course of 7 years of being sent to the principal's office...
Well, he was the king of detention.
King of detention.
The principal knows him.
Yeah, where he's known... He's like the principal's son. The principal, by the way, looked like that man should have died of a heart attack, as they call it, cut. Like I felt bad for him. I was like, ooh, that guy's not healthy. Yeah, the principal's like, wait, you're Sean Armstrong? The Sean Armstrong?
King of detention?
go, all right, get out of here. Get out of here. Like, he doesn't want to reprimand
I don't want
him.
any trouble from you, grown man. Oh, wait.
I wrote down
As a kid, you were a terror. As a grown man, you seem totally normal, but I'm still scared of you. I feel like this movie should have been called I Hate Kids. Oops, nope, just kidding. I love kids.
By the way, the principal was named, that was played by Sandy Milky. Dude's name was Sandy.
Yeah, and you know, like, all through school, he was called Milky Sandy.
He's like, finally, I get the principal role.
We got to talk about the craziest prank in the movie, the pit of blood.
Oh my God.
With seaweed in it?
This, with compost in it as well. They've put the compost.
Seaweed was definitely an element.
Yeah. Compost never showed up. It was just mentioned.
That's the weird thing about this movie. The sort of comedic moments they're going for, even the treadmill scene, they become so violent and so scary.
Yeah. Well, the reality of the pranks themselves are the only result for many of them would in fact be death.
Well, that's what, like, but you see, like, and here's my pitch. I'll add this pitch to your movie, June, is if Hulk was a little bit more of a hard ass when he first came in, he would be like, all right, kids, in bed by 6,
Absolutely.
up by now. And they're like, we got to teach this guy a lesson. But he's so nice. He's like, all right, I'll drive you. Like, open the door for us. He's like,
And every
okay.
time they prank him, and they're like, how was your workout? He's like, invigorating. He's like, I'm not going to give you the satisfaction.
Because what I maintain, and I know I'm going back to this, is that he doesn't conceive of himself as a nanny. He's not taking on that role of discipline
You think that
and
he's
order
like fending
because
off
he's
attacks.
like, I'm a security
he's
guard.
Like, he's like,
This
oh, these
isn't my
attacks are
problem.
from...
Yeah.
So at what point do you think he switches? The Tea Party?
Around then. It's before the Tea Party. It's when, well, he's starting to see things with the dad and realize, these kids are not.
When he sings Twinkle Twinkle Little Star?
I think it's the bedroom scene.
I wrote down at one point, I go, this is like a really violent sound of music.
Which had Nazis in it.
I think when he first figures it, once the dad gets the facts at the table on his mini fax machine,
that the kids have never seen before.
Never seen him pull out a
pocket fax.
A pocket fax machine.
Which is like a calculator with a tape.
It's like
thing
an
in
Apple
it
Newton with a...
that your dad bought in the 80s because that was the new thing and you never used it.
And so he's like, hey, brother, you don't love your kids. Like, that's basically like he has a confrontation with them. And the guy's like, oh, yeah, I don't.
I have something I want to talk about. Because I love, we do these movies, and I love finding weird, inexplicable parallels and echoes. So in this movie, there is another character who for most of the movie is silent and who has pre-written cards that are perfect for the situations that he is in and can just pull them out, give them, so that they can have a conversation.
But at least in this movie they call it out and he goes, oh, you're very intuitive.
It was actually pretty, that was the one funny moment.
I laughed at that too.
Austin Pendleton had. He was like, oh yeah, you're...
But what it was David Caruso
kept
in
beating
what?
it to death.
Hudson Hawk.
It was Hudson Hawk. I was trying to figure out. I knew it was David Caruso. I couldn't remember what it was. But like that, I was like, this is the same stupid bit in this movie too. Because the guy gets hurt. Oh, it doesn't matter. Who cares? And he keeps having conversations where he's like,
because he gets a neck brace on, which also has an attachment. Because apparently his injury, he can't close his mouth. Yeah. Because of his
here's
injury.
the question: was that guy the head of security for
Austin Pendleton?
Yeah.
So he then brought in another security
guard. Yeah.
Terrible. No, he's terrible at his job.
But he's working for the bad guys. He's working for the bad guys.
So, but I guess here's my
freely
question:
admits.
Which he also has on a card.
Sorry.
But why? No, but just why not have someone pretend to be that guy? Why
Wait, what?
search out?
Oh, that's really
So
smart.
he's-
Why sabotage it?
So he's the head of security for this
Yeah.
company, for Austin Pendleton's company. So what he does is he searches out a bad, low-rent security company to
Right.
protect Austin Pendleton's family. Why not just throw in one of your guys and tell them?
That's what I think
Put them
is-
on the payroll and say,
see.
Super smart idea. Much better idea to just
Yeah.
hire like
Or why
one
not
of the bullies.
hire David Johansson's
bully?
yeah,
Lackey.
dude.
The
Yeah.
Bobo Steven Seagal
June,
guy.
you have a great movie in you that is somehow
I do.
based on this.
I really
And I
do.
don't think you're going to get any shit if you decide to write it
Thank you.
and produce it.
What would you call your movie?
People aren't going to be like, wait a minute. She ripped off Mr. Nanny. Yeah, what would you call your movie?
What would you call it, June?
Rough Stuff is Taken.
Rough stuff.
God, I don't know. Well, see, I actually do think, here's the thing about Rough Stuff, and the movie will not be called Rough Stuff, but I do think there was, because this movie is split in two, I think Rough Stuff was the title of the second movie.
Yes.
So I think this movie, and that's the problem I have with it being called Mr. Nanny, because it's not Mr. Nanny. It's not Mr. Nanny at all.
But it's kind of
It's-
Mr. Nanny.
It's not Mr. Nanny, Jason.
It's definitely not.
It's not. They don't play into that premise at all. If it was Mr. Nanny, his whole struggle and his whole arc would be about
Mrs.
I hate
Doubtfire.
kids.
It would be
yeah,
Mrs.
I
Doubtfire.
hate kids.
Or Mr.
It's
Mom.
not a comfortable situation.
Or some other
for me.
great
Or
movies.
the Tooth Fairy. Or
Kindergarten
the
Cop.
Pacifier.
Yes. That's not this movie. He's just getting beaten up by these kids.
Right.
Maybe that is where there's no plot to it, I guess, right?
I mean, what you're pointing out is true, and I guess I'm pretty shocked that this Hulk Hogan movie isn't better.
But I guess this is what I have to say. Because I just think there's such a clear... I am
agreeing
shocked.
with you. This Hulk Hogan movie.
You guys do this every time. Like, how did
I
this
am shocked.
podcast get made? You guys do this every single time. You're like, why are there stupid people in the world?
What I'm saying is...
We go in with the best of intentions.
And
we
you know
want
what? If we
to
figure
love
it
it
out-
like Crank 2 and the Fast and Furious
Have you
movies.
ever figured out how this shit gets made? You've never figured it out.
The investigation is ongoing. It is an ongoing
The
investigation.
data is not all in.
That's just the thing that bums me out, is that there is a clear premise here. There is a clear game he could play, and it just never
They
happened.
got one of the best writers in the biz.
Oh, the writer of Mannequin and Mannequin 2.
Mannequin is one of my favorite movies.
Wait.
And the director of Mannequin.
Something Gottlieb.
Something else we've done? Didn't that guy write something else we've done?
Yeah, as far as I know, Edgar Rugoff and Michael Gottlieb wrote Mannequin and Mannequin 2. That's all I have for
And
them.
there's other things that,
Okay.
you wouldn't even put on this podcast.
The director Michael Gottlieb also directed a King Arthur's Court. The movie. Did you guys think it was a little dark when Hulk Hogan told the girl that his father went to hell?
You know what?
My daughter, my 7-year-old, because my 5-year-old came in later during the violent fights on the boat, my 7-year-old actually had a comment about that, and it was, "This is awkward."
She should be a guest on this show.
To me,
But I should say also largely, I set the whole thing up like, all right, this movie's terrible, strap yourself in. And she laughed for a long time and started repeating lines. Like he just said, I don't even know where they are. She started repeating lines to me.
Funny.
So, you know.
it is strange that he would... I think what's disturbing about it is that he would even introduce the idea or possibility that this little girl's mother could go to hell. Like, to
This
just
little
even
girl-
posit that is so
This girl
dark.
is a sociopath. This little girl is like an evil genius.
She
Well, the little girl's the first one to kind of switch over.
She tries to
like
pull
at
back her
minute
brother.
7, she switches over.
Did you guys want to talk about the pool of blood?
Oh yeah, we can play the scene. We can play the scene right now. Here we go.
Oh wait, this is there's not enough mayo for that huge sandwich scene.
Yeah, Hulk is a big guy, so he's got to eat a giant.
I get so OCD about the lack of mayo he's putting on this huge sandwich. Go ahead.
I get really upset with what he does to the utensil the mayo is on.
Yes, there's a lot of Hulk eating.
Look. Oh, I need way more mayo than that.
She picks up a different pan.
Cast iron. That's a cast iron pan.
What'd you do that for?
For making a mess, Porky.
You could have just asked me to clean it up.
Sure, but where's the fun in that?
Help, Dad! Help me!
Ignore it.
Don't worry, I wouldn't lift a finger to help those brats.
Help, Dad! I can't swim!
Oh my God!
Sucker.
I'm coming! Hold on! Oh no, you don't! You little bastard!
Wow! Now all he needs is a couple of horns, a pitchfork, and a pointy tail.
That is it.
Red dye number 2.
The pit of blood, which means that they had to empty the pool of all the water, fill it full of whatever the blood that they are using.
And they've done it before.
Yeah,
They added dye to the water.
Oh, they added dye to the water. Okay.
But they did probably have to drain the whole thing afterwards.
Thanks, Jason.
I'm sorry, I'm just kidding. I just looked it up. It's menstrual blood. The little girl got her first period.
Before
She did lose a couple teeth during this movie, I noticed.
yes, she
Yes,
did lose her
she
tooth.
did.
She
and they-
lost
Look like
at
it.
least one tooth
Yes.
And
during
then
the
they
filming of
colored
this
in
movie.
at one point, right?
And it just was gone.
Yeah.
And then she started lisping.
What an idiot.
When Sherman they tell kids a lot of disturbing stuff. One thing is that Hulk's dad went to hell. They also recount that story where Buster Poindexter shot Hulk in the dick. They tell that to kids too. But then when Sherman Hemsley shows up at one point in the movie, I find this interesting. They're like, he has the cane, and they go, what can you do with that cane? They cut to a very tight close-up of his hands, and he spins the cane around for quite some time like they're nunchucks, and then that never comes back. That is never used. That in the big final fight scene, never touched upon.
And also, it should be pointed out that that was such a tight shot that I question whether it was actually Sherman Hemsley twirling that cane.
Speaking of Sherman Hemsley and the big end of the movie fight scene, what do you do when you're what do you do when you're tied up in a factory or a boat or wherever you are?
Oh,
And you're all tied up and you gotta get out quick. So
you have a machine gun nearby.
And the only thing there is an AK-47. You point the AK-47 up at you, you put your toe in it, you put your hands over the muzzle, sending bullets ricocheting throughout a building full of 2 children. It is like...
And then, you never use that gun again.
Nope.
Not to fend off the bad guy.
No.
Now, I thought you would love this because you remember the knife from Hudson Hawk with the foot. This is kind of an extension
oh my God,
of that.
You're right, yeah.
Yeah, it was very much like my left foot acting here.
Yeah.
By the way, that's a tricky thing. Like, if you've never
Very
done that
tricky
with your
thing.
foot to get your foot in the gun and then shoot up at your
by the way, the
face.
kick on that gun must be pretty substantial.
Yeah, it's shooting. It's a machine
it's
gun.
basically right here.
Mythbusters, we challenge you once again.
Jamie, Adam, hear us out. You
Get a
tackled
machine gun.
Star Wars. Please.
The filmography of Hulk Hogan. All right, let's talk about the end here, because the end of this movie. What happens? Can we all? Because I'm not quite sure how they defeat this guy and what happens to him.
Well, there's
a part of me that says that.
Okay, I do think I know a little bit of what happens.
Okay.
There's a big fight going on. Austin Pendleton and his son create some sort of electromagnetic magnet situation that traps David Johansen's head onto the thing and spins him around to a speed and a degree that it launches him out the skylight, not out and into the ocean, but I believe into low orbit.
But that was my question. Is he like, is it?
Because he just keeps going.
Yeah.
I thought it was like launched into outer space forever, because also we realized that his headpiece is landed.
Yeah.
His headpiece.
Well, that's what's confusing, because it seems like the metal head is what would have taken him out there. So you would have... The metal head...
What?
The force of the magnet going around forced him out and into outer space.
Sure.
But then that metal head comes back.
I think the metal head was like stuck to the magnet thing, but his body separated from the...
From the metal head he got in prison, by the way.
From the metal yarmulke.
I see.
I think his body separated from the yarmulke and sailed off.
I see.
And then the metal yarmulke fell down.
But
the magnet was still on.
But his like exposed brain now is in outer space.
Yes?
He's been through that before.
Now, did anyone see in Gravity, do they run into him in outer space?
Well, I think they were setting up a Mr. Nanny 2.
Space Nanny?
I think also like in the very abrupt epilogue where they're like, I think we'll see him again. You think like, oh shit, are they setting up a Mr. Nanny 2? God, they were cocky.
Oh yeah.
But no, they had just set up another...
Well, but they
random prank. A horrible prank that would that one definitely killed him. As they
would kill you.
That would kill him.
A steel rope to the back of a motorcycle. He took off, and the last shot of the movie is him face first, no helmet.
But no, he's not going to die because he had wires on him. I saw them in the last shot. They're very visible.
Well, that's good to know.
You know what would have been awesome? You know what would have been fucking awesome? Is if at the end of the movie when he's riding away on his motorcycle, he's wearing the metal yarmulke as a helmet. That would have been
stuff.
Well, brother.
Now, I was confused before. Okay, well, first ballet scene.
Oh yes, sorry.
Where that
my daughter had a lot to say
adult-size
about that.
adult-sized ballet costume came from that he was just wearing. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Where did that
I'm fine
come
with
from?
that, though. I really am. But after the bad guys show up and there's that fight, and then they take the kids and Bert. He's left alone with Mother Love. The police come and she doesn't want to tell them.
No.
What happened.
I think that is like, I think they were like, well, you know how black people don't trust the police. You know what I mean?
Because it's very strange. I mean, she was thrown in a closet. They were, the kids have been kidnapped.
Yes. And she
Why
is
are they holding
totally
information?
Cool.
Yeah, I think that's a black thing.
Oh, okay.
Right? I mean, this movie's super racist. Sherman Hemsley is called at one point, he's called Pappy, which isn't overtly racist.
No, it's pretty
But
racist.
I immediately thought Mammy,
Nappy.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's in there somewhere.
Horribly racist.
It is bad news.
The ballet scene, was there anything else we have? Because I want to go to the
My
audience.
daughter said during the ballet scene, she just was repeating lines at that point because she was having such a good time. She said, a 300-pound man in tights.
What did your daughter say when the violence started and when the waterboarding section of the movie happened?
Oh, no, that's when my 5-year-old came in. And she left pretty soon after. And then when I finished...
After being like, this isn't hardcore enough.
She is the more hardcore of the two. And then at the end of the movie,
me like clips from Saw.
she always asked me to play Black Widow's fight scene from the Avengers.
Really?
So that's what we're working with. She came into my office where I was watching it afterwards, and she goes, "Is it over? Yay."
Well, I'm sure that you guys have some questions that can cover some stuff that we haven't talked about just yet. So raise your hands, get them up. We'll talk to you. We'll find out what your questions are. Where are the questions? Ooh, a lot of questions. Okay, here we go. I'll start with you. I'll start with you right here in the middle. All right. So what's your name and what would you title this movie?
June is up!
June is up and walking around. June is walking. June is not
what would you
sitting
title the
anymore.
movie and your question?
My name's Greg. I would title this movie The Child Hunter, kind of like a bounty hunter, but for kids.
Ooh, I like that.
And I had a question. Do you know what the budget was for this film? Because in the credits,
7.3.
Swear to God, the catering is listed as TV dinners.
That's correct.
Well, that may be like a funny catering name. That's like sometimes they have
Those
fun
guys
names.
are still around. They do a good job.
But it would be disheartening to be working on a movie and the catering company is TV dinners.
I have a catering company called Diarrhea Factory.
The budget was $10 million. It made $1 million on the first week out, and a total of $4 million. Not
And also, the acts were separated by like iMovie blackout swipe transitions, meaning they thought like, oh, we're going to be on cable TV. We're going to have to make way for commercials. Sorry, go on.
Your name, what would you title this movie? We have a lot of notes here. And what's your question?
My name is Nick, and I would title this movie, I have no clue, Hulk.
That's good, Hulk.
Yeah, Hulk. That's all you need to know. Why is Sherman Hemsley's stuff constantly getting repossessed to a greater degree throughout the movie?
Yeah, that's a great question. It would have just happened once, you would imagine.
Well, it was different. But
they come every day and they go, all right, get that teapot tomorrow.
Well, now it's like, I feel like now we're the phone company and we're taking this away. Or now was it the same company?
Again, he should be getting a cut.
He should be getting a cut of whatever Hulk is making.
Yeah. No,
By the way, I want to applaud
I don't
these
think
guys.
Hulk got paid yet.
These guys are dressed in Hulkamania. Show off your
God.
Hulkamania.
Stand up.
Great costume.
Stand up.
Great costumes. Yeah, show off your Hulk.
Wow. Stand up like June is right now.
All right, come a little bit closer to me if you can. What's your name? What would you title this movie and your question?
I would title this adult child movie Disaster Number 4.8. But first of all, thanks for noticing the dog getting thrown in the water. We watched the movie earlier, and we were both like, what the fuck?
I'd like to see it again. I really would.
But my wife, who's a little shy with this, also noticed that later in the movie, Hulk Hogan manages to infiltrate the bad guy's hideout. He goes underwater, and he just knows that they have this secret little water thing. He just magically knows.
That's a great idea. Yeah,
he just magically pops up in the middle of their base. He's never been there before, but he goes underwater, and he doesn't drown. He magically finds the place he needs to be.
Yeah, the bad guy's base has a hole, like a mini pool, that he swims directly towards
like
and pops
Ed Harris in the abyss.
I didn't understand what was happening with that buoy number 53.
Oh, that was a huge plot point.
Yeah, what was that?
What was that?
Well, there's only one buoy in the channel. And he was like, I don't know.
All
already
the
said
buoys
too
were
much.
53?
All right, your name, what would you title the movie, and your question?
I'm Justin. I call the movie The Pacifier and put The Rock in it.
Vin Diesel, my friend.
Oh, yeah. Whatever.
Tooth Fairy is more of the Rock's movie.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Wasn't that one where he was a football player, too? And
Yeah, that's another one. Yeah, that's...
Okay. I'm just going to go on with my question. Okay. So Hulk, or whatever the hell his name is having this recurring dream. So he's been having this nightmare all the time. Now, in the opening scene, he's fishing. So in the nightmare, he's wearing the fishing gear. But at the end of the movie, when he has a flashback to the nightmare, he's still wearing the fishing gear.
I noticed that, too, and I was like, I didn't quite understand.
Oh, it's just
Didn't understand
all they did was
that.
they just reused the footage. And they were like
$10 million, bro.
What if we put this at the end too?
We're only at 81 minutes. We need a couple more minutes.
We're short.
And just if anyone knows what that flashback means, raise your hand, because I don't know what that was referring to, because he didn't throw that fight, but then he's a disgraced
And
wrestler.
why
but we
are
don't
they
know
all?
why.
Why are there like 6 wrestlers fighting him?
Yeah.
Oh, including
Bam Bam Bigelow.
Bam Bam Bigelow.
I think the very weak setup was that he's being haunted by wrestling, although he says he does want to go back to it.
See, I think the opening of the movie was the flashback scene, and then it was like him sleeping on the dock. He never had that nightmare. And then he's like, let's come work at the security company. And he just goes. I think they added all that stuff.
I think the whole movie took place in one of his neurological disorder nightmares.
It was an episode.
He dreamed it.
I think the whole movie, it's like Jacob's Ladder.
He's going to wake up with the fish in his hand.
The whole movie is a dream while he's fishing.
Yes, exactly.
The fish eventually, he's treating the fish badly. That's why in the dream he's being treated so badly, getting hit in the head all the time.
And he's going to wake up insane elsewhere.
Your name, your title, and your question.
My name's Louis. My title is A Balding Man in a Tutu and Some Kids. And my question is, do you think that Hulk Hogan listens to this podcast and says, I can't believe my colleagues talk about me like this?
Well, colleagues?
Oh, so many
So
answers.
you think
Colleagues.
you think we're colleagues of Hulk Hogan?
Listen.
We wrestled in the WCW, okay?
I
We're not
wish.
colleagues.
I wish.
I'll have you know, brother.
I wish that I had played enough shades of people in my career to be considered for a Mr. Nanny type role. Like, oh, it would be great to see him play something different. Like, yeah.
We'll take 2 more questions. Here we go. Your name, your title, and your question.
You had notes. You had I saw you consult a whole bunch of notes.
I did. I spent a couple hours at work doing that. My name is Nikki. My title would be Practically Orphaned Killer Kids. And my question is, why do the bad guys take Mr. Jefferson and leave Hulk at the house?
That is a great question.
Why take the weaker of the two?
Maybe because Hulk is too heavy to carry?
Well, it's also strange. At one point, he says, when he's at the warehouse, he dismisses the kids and the chip and turns to Bert and says, he says something along the lines of like, now you're the reason why I'm here.
I'm changing reasons why I'm here.
It all of a sudden becomes about Bert once he puts together.
Yeah. Because what he says is, I was in this for the money, but now I'm in it for revenge too.
And he's like, oh shit, I should have taken Hulk Hogan and not Mr. Jefferson. I think that's in the movie too.
All right, here we go. Final question. Your name, your title, and your question here.
My name is Daniel. I would probably call it Downfall of Legend.
I'm sorry, who's the legend?
Hulk! Terry!
George the Animal Steel, who also makes an appearance.
I have 2
Terry
questions.
Von Erich.
The first question is for Jason. Is there any update on Undercover?
We were going to actually have something here tonight, but it didn't get here in time. But next
there's-
live show, there's going to be a special
slight
thing.
update. There's a slight update, but I'm not going to tell you about it. So don't worry.
And the second question is for June and Paul, if there is any parental guidance that you gleaned from this movie.
Good question. Don't give your kids tripwires. And never take a kid's wallet.
Don't let your wife die.
I'm actually wondering if she...
I did think that was very selfish of her.
Yeah, she was a real bitch.
She left that crazy mad scientist alone to be preoccupied, and these kids went wild.
June, what did you learn?
Well, it also seemed like she died very suddenly.
Wait, are you saying that maybe suspicious circumstances?
No, I think she may have been the workout nut of the family and built that gym.
That's what the gym was for.
And had a coronary on the treadmill. And that was it for her.
What was the toilet seat for? Hulk brings the toilet seat all the way to the hideout. Nothing happens with it.
To throw it as a boomerang, and then they turn on a magnet.
My daughter.
That's how he got on the thing and flipped around, right?
My 7-year-old.
I thought the toilet seat was going to be a real weapon or something.
My 7-year-old actually spoke to that, and she said, toilet seat. Love the movie.
I'll just point out one thing too. This kid is a gadget head. He makes a lot of gadgets.
And the girl likes ballet and tea parties.
Well, yeah, the girl likes tea parties because, come on, right? Boys make shit and girls are girls. But the only thing they go to all the time is this fucking wallet that electrocutes people. That wallet is used so many times. All I got on me is a wallet. Ah!
My daughter actually said to me, she turned to me, she goes, I knew that was coming because of the wallet. Like she was writing the movie as it was happening.
Well, obviously we had an opinion, but there are people out there that have a different opinion. Now it's time for a second opinion.
Second opinions! From top to bottom, crazy movies are fun.
They're not your first, but they're gonna be a second.
From the depths of Amazon they come. Second opinions for everyone. Second opinions!
These are 5-star reviews culled from Amazon. I will say that I don't know, with Hulk movies, you don't know if they're real or if they're just being sarcastic, but I'll read them anyway.
Can you read them in both a real and a sarcastic voice?
This one I believe is sarcastic. This is from Zolrath. He writes, Mr. Nanny rules. What can I say? Christians have their Bible. I have Mr. Nanny. This has to be one of the greatest movies ever made. 5 stars. From Yarmouth County, Nova Scotia. This is 5 out of 5 stars. The subject is Thank. By Stephen and Christina. Glad to have it. Thank you very much. It will be put to very good use once again. Thank you.
Good use.
Thank you. Wait.
This Nova Scotia. They have their own time zone.
Is a thank you, I believe, to
Amazon for sending the movie.
It's a thank you note to an entire corporation.
Thank you for
sending me the DVD.
Delivering it.
I'll put it to good use. I appreciate it. See you at Christmas. Love, Steve and Christina.
And finally,
but I'm assuming she paid for it.
I paid for it. You guys owe me $2.99, by the way.
Oh, what did you spring for HD?
I might have my settings preset to HD. I don't know.
I paid $1.99 for it and watched a significant portion of it on my phone.
On the way over here.
Calling all Hulkamaniacs. This is by Hulk Hogan Lucas. All this to say, if you haven't seen these movies or if you don't like them, then you're not a true American. Don't do that to your country. I didn't fight for this country to have people ignore this movie.
Wow.
Would you recommend this movie for people watch? Should people watch this movie?
I would say watch No Holds Barred. I mean, if you're going to watch a Hulk Hogan movie, No Holds Barred somehow seemed it was more insane. But this is pretty bananas. I mean, this is bonkers. The other one is next level bonkers.
I would say definitely watch the dog being thrown into the water scene.
We'll end on that. Rob, you really had a journey.
Yeah, I would say that, yes, this movie will always hold a special place for me because it's where it became different.
I'd say it's good. All right. Thank you guys so much for coming out. Thank you to Nick Kiley. Thank you to Avril Haley.